Okay, so we're going to be making Angie's legendary Caesar salad. This is a really classic Caesar salad. It incorporates all the classic ingredients. So what you want to have ready, this isn't a recipe where you really want to have all your ingredients ready. Got an egg yolk. I've got my key ingredients really. Garlic, about 3 cloves I like. You can add a little more or less depending on taste. 4 anchovy fillets and about a teaspoon of salt. We've got a lemon. About a half teaspoon of lemon, about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a teaspoon of fresh ground pepper, a third of a cup of extra virgin olive oil, about a cup of Parmesan cheese, freshly grated, and then I've got about 3 heads of romaine lettuce, just cut up in small pieces. So the first step is what you're going to do is you're going to sort of make a paste of these 3 key ingredients, the anchovies, the garlic, and the salt. A lot of people have questioned, do you really need anchovies? You do. They're what makes Caesar salad taste like Caesar salad. You can do without, but it probably won't be as good. So you're just going to sort of chop these. The original recipe calls for mashing them in a bowl. I just can't deal with doing it. But you just sort of chop them until they're all coming together, and it takes a while. Hopefully you don't lose too much garlic. Until you start getting a paste. Once it's a little more finely chopped, you start mashing it with a fork. And having the salt in there is important, and I use a coarse salt if you have it. If you don't, it's not that important, but it just helps break down the garlic and the anchovies to make more of a paste. So at this point we can move to the fork method, and that's literally just pressing it and trying to get a paste out of it. So it's a little labor intensive, but it's worth it, so you don't have, the flavors are strong obviously, but you don't have the same sort of, you don't have bites where you're like, whoa garlic, whoa anchovy. It all just sort of tastes the same and awesome. So that's about our anchovy and garlic paste. So once you're done with it, and it's about that texture, you can move it into your salad bowl. I like to use a wooden salad bowl. If you have an all wood, this one's sort of a finished one, that's really great because then you can sort of do it right in there and it imparts some of the flavors, but if not, this is fine. Alright, so now we're going to start adding the rest of our ingredients. I'm adding my 1 large egg yolk. It is safe to eat raw egg yolks. Some people are worried, but eggs today are pasteurized, so they're safe. If you're worried, you can coddle an egg, and that'll make sure you get all the sort of cooking on. But I think it's fine, unless it's a pregnant woman eating it. Then I guess you're supposed to watch out a little more. Also gonna add about that teaspoon of mustard. I add more than most recipes call for. I just like how it tastes. I'm gonna add the rest of my salt and my teaspoon of fresh cracked pepper. And add a good squeeze of lemon. And I'm gonna start whisking that together. Now I'm going to start adding my olive oil. This is when it sort of really becomes the salad dressing. You're going to want to try and whisk consistently, but it's really, you're not going to mess it up if you add it all at once. It's just easier to incorporate and make a really nice texture if you do it all sort of slowly and drizzly. So that's the basis of the Caesar dressing. Around now, I've got about a cup of grated Parmesan. I'm going to add about half of it now just to the dressing. Whisk it in. Then I'm going to start adding my lettuce. I love to do it with bare hands. I find it easiest, so I just wash my hands, so I'm just going to toss it in by hand. Of course, if you're a little squeamish, you can use some tongs. So add about half your lettuce just to make it easier on you. And start tossing it. Then you can add, once it's sort of started to incorporate, add the rest of the lettuce. Toss it up. Make sure you got it all the way through, all the good dressings at the bottom. You're gonna spread it through. You can make this dressing in a bowl and toss it on after, but I find this is just a great way to make sure every bite's really delicious. So after it's all tossed, you add some of my homemade croutons. You don't need all of these, but half if you like a lot of croutons will be plenty. Toss that up. Add the rest of the Parmesan cheese on top. Voila, you got Angie's homemade Caesar salad.